Hello, and welcome to Reads. That's short, but really exciting and delightful stories. And I'm your host, Nahjee Grant, and I'm a children's author. On this show, we explore children's stories and authors like you. As a matter of fact, you can appear on this show with me and read your story. You can write and illustrate your own story, no longer than 32 pages, and you can send your submissions to LMTV at 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Ardmore, PA 19003. Or you can email your submission to lmtv@lowellmarion.org. So remember, so you can be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. And doesn't that sound exciting? Well, speaking of stories, I have a special guest with me today. Annabel O'Neill from White Marsh Elementary School is here to read her story, The Magic Castle. So we had a short story contest in the winter, and we received over 60 submissions, and Annabel is one of our winners. So welcome, Annabel.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So you're going to share your story, The Magic Castle. But I just wanted to ask you before you start, how did you come up with the story, the idea for your story?
Well, I really like Beauty and the Beast, so Beauty and the Beast is a movie where all these furniture come alive, and I wanted to make a story about that too.
Okay, interesting. So when we read the story, we were all very amazed, and you were very talented. Very talented. So we wanted you to share your story with the rest of the world. So here we are. This is your story, and you can begin.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Isabel. She lived in a house on Morris Lane. She knew that she had a dream that somewhere in the neighborhood there was a magic well, something magic to her. A magic tunnel, a magic house, something. 2 weeks later, when she took a walk, she saw something. It looked like mist on a summer day. The moment she stepped into the mist, everything around her vanished. It looked like it was an entrance to something. Chapter 2. When everything was in sight again, everything looked different. She was in a castle, not hers, but the lights were out so she couldn't see. Suddenly, everything was light and magic. Magic lamps, magic couch, even a magic fireplace. Her dream had come true. Every time she changed rooms, it seemed like she was in another country. Suddenly, she heard a sound. It sounded like footsteps. She tried to find a hiding spot, but it seemed to come from everywhere. The only thing that wasn't moving was a chair. She peeked through a hole and saw a bed with eyes and a mouth. Suddenly, the chair started moving and Isabel was seen. Chapter 3. The bed saw her. "Who are you?" asked the bed. "My name is Isabel," said Isabel. "Who are you?" "I am Cindy, queen of my kingdom," said the bed. "Guards, please give Isabel a tour." A group of chairs jumped up and pushed her away. Then suddenly they stopped and introduced themselves. "I'm Claire, I'm Sunny, I'm Maya." Every chair called out their names. When the tour was over, they went back to the throne room where Cindy was waiting. There was a huge table in front of her. Golden plates and cups were neatly placed in front of every chair. After lunch, Isabel said, "I really must get home." "You can't until it's the end of the year," said Cindy. "Why?" asked Isabel. "Because there's a shield between our worlds. As soon as someone enters it, it closes. As soon as it closes, it cannot open until a year had passed." "No," yelled Isabel, "I must get home." "I'm sorry, but you can't," said Cindy. Isabel's eyes filled with tears. She ran into the royal garden and yelled, "I want to go home, home." Chapter 5. She cried so loud that Cindy could hear. "I feel so bad for her," she said. Then she went into the garden that Isabel was in. "I know how you feel," she said. "Everyone who arrives here ends up like this." Isabel stops crying. "Why did you come get me?" she asks. "Because that's what friends do," said Cindy. "That's so nice of you," said Isabel. When they got back to the throne room, all of the furniture cheered. "They missed you," said Cindy. Isabel smiled and knew the year would go past quickly. After only 2 days, Isabel grew bored of the castle. The problem was that the furniture ate the same foods every day, at dinner, at lunch, and even at breakfast. There were lots of other problems too, but she could not name them all. When she had time, she asked Cindy something. "Okay," said Cindy, "I'll try." After that, Cindy called a town meeting. "Isabel is tired of our routine," said Cindy. Everyone agreed to change it. After the meeting, it was time for dinner. They ate something else. "Good," said Isabel. Cindy listened. That night, suddenly Isabel felt homesick. She missed her parents more than anything. A month later, Isabel felt more homesick than ever, and Cindy understood. Suddenly, she remembered the shield and she had an idea. Maybe she had to go somewhere to make it open. She ran to tell Cindy the news. "The legend says you can't," said Cindy, "but I can't remember where." "Maybe we can check," said Isabel. "We have a computer that can tell us," said Cindy. "Where is it?" asked Isabel. "It's in the grand hallway," said Cindy, "so let's go there." When they made it to the hallway, there before them was a huge computer. Cindy typed in the legend of the shield. Suddenly, the world turned into a blur. Isabel stood there, wondering where she was. Finally, she realized that's how it worked. Right before her eyes were 2 beautiful mountains. "We have to find out which one to take," said Isabel. "The legend says someone came and activated the shield," said Cindy. Like a princess," said Isabel. "Exactly," said Cindy. "We should go to that one," said Isabel, pointing to a mountain. As they started walking, they came to a river with no bay around it. Then they saw a boat. "You are right," said Isabel. "Someone does live here." They tried to get in, but Cindy couldn't fit. "It's all up to you now," said Cindy, so Isabel set out. When she got to the edge of the river, Isabel climbed out of the boat. She started walking toward the mountain. As she climbed, she started to see something. There before her was the activator of the shield and someone standing next to it. It was a princess. "Hello, my name is Isabel. What is yours?" asked Isabel. "Mine is Princess Maya," said the princess. "I'm keeping the shield." "What do you want?" asked Maya. "I need you to turn off the shield so I can go home," said Isabel. "I'd be happy to," said Maya. "Great," said Isabel. They climbed back into the boat, rowed across the river where Cindy was waiting. When they got to the other side, Cindy said some magic words and they were back in the palace. Then she said them again, and Isabel was standing in front of her house. Went in and lived happily ever after. The end.
Well, that was a wonderful story, and I know that the audience enjoyed the story as much as I enjoyed reading it when you submitted it. So let me ask you this last questions. What's one of your favorite subjects in school?
My favorite subject is reading.
Is reading. Very cool. Which one of your favorite books?
I like one called The Littles Give a Party.
The Littles Give a Party. Okay. And do you have any idea yet what you want to do when you get older?
No.
No, which is fine. Sky's the limit for you. So I thank you for coming on. Thank you for submitting your story, and you're more than welcome to submit another story for our summer contest as well. All right. Thank you, Annabelle. Well, it's great to speak with you, Annabelle. Well, we gotta take a break. But when we come back, we'll read another story and tell you more about how you can be on TV, just like Annabelle, and read your story that you wrote. Don't go away. Hello, and welcome to Reads. That's short for really exciting and delightful stories. I'm your host, Nahjee Grant, and I'm a children's author. On this show, we explore children's stories and authors like you. As a matter of fact, you can appear on this show with me and read your story. You can write and illustrate a story no longer than 32 pages, and you can submit your story to LMTV at 75 East Lancaster Avenue, Almore, PA 19003. Or you can email us at lmtv@lowermerion.org. So you could be on TV with me and read your story to everyone. And doesn't that sound exciting? Well, speaking of stories, I have a special guest with me today. Alina Tuwalski from Gladwin Elementary School is here to read her story, Unicorn in Las Vegas. And welcome, Alina.
Thank you.
Well, hold on, before you read your story, I just wanted to share with everyone that we had a short story contest this past fall, going into the winter, and we received over 60 submissions.
That's really good.
That's very good. It's a lot of kids who submitted their stories, and you were one of our winners. All right, when you submitted it, the judges were able to read it, and we really enjoyed reading your story, and we invited you to come on the show, and here you are. So before you begin, how did you come with the idea for your story, Unicorn in Las Vegas?
Because I love equines, those are horses, like Pegasus, alicorns, of course unicorns, and horses. And I went to Las Vegas for my aunt's trip for her wedding, and I really enjoyed it there. I went to M&M World, and I stayed in this fancy hotel.
Interesting. And when was this?
It was in November, and my aunt's wedding was December 1st.
Okay. And how long did it take you to write the story?
I think 5 days.
About 5 days. That's very quick. Very quick. Well, without further ado, why don't you read your story to the rest of the world? Here.
Unicorn in Las Vegas by Alina Maddox. Once upon a time, there was a unicorn, and her name was Sparkles. Sparkles had 4 sisters, and their names were Minty, Daisy, Peppy, and Vanilla. One day, Sparkles used her mom's computer and found a flight to Las Vegas, Nevada. She wanted to go to the big 2018 New Year's party. Minty asked, How can you go there? You didn't even ask Mom to use her computer. Well, let's talk to Mom about it, said Sparkles. Daisy said, Mama's going to get really mad at you. Sparkles asked, Why would she get mad at me? Because you were on her computer without asking, yelled the Unicorn sisters. Well, yelled Sparkles, let's talk to Mom right now. She won't be mad at me. She wants to see the big party too. The unicorns went downstairs to see Mrs. Unicorn, and they all looked very scared. What is happening? Asked the worried unicorn mom. Vanilla said, Sparkles went on your computer to the airline website. Mrs. Unicorn became very angry and said, What, Sparkles? You went on my computer? Sparkles pouted and didn't even say sorry. Finally, Mrs. Unicorn said, We will all go to the 2018 New Year's party, but your punishment is you can't go to Las Vegas, Sparkles. You have to go to our neighbor's Mrs. Dash. Sparkles was so mad that she yelled, No! Mom, you can't do this to me. But Mrs. Unicorn made her decision. When it was time to take the plane flight, Mrs. Unicorn, Minty, Daisy, Peppy, and Vanilla walked Sparkles to Mrs. Dash's house with her suitcase. They told Mrs. Dash that Sparkles was there for her punishment and that she could not go back home until they came back from the big party in Las Vegas. Sparkles did not even say a word. She still didn't even say sorry for using her mom's computer and yelling. She just looked mad and ignored everybody. Her family left. Sparkles sat down in the house and asked, Can I eat some donuts? Mrs. Dash was very nice and said, I can make homemade donuts. Sparkles liked that. Mrs. Dash told her that they would have dinner first. What are we having for dinner? Asked Sparkles. Mrs. Dash said, We are having pork chops with French's fried onions, rice, and mashed potatoes, and our drinks are juice and water. For dessert, we are having ice cream and homemade donuts. A special meal for a special unicorn. Yummy, said Sparkles.
So Sparkles, why don't you unpack your things upstairs in your room? Then come downstairs to eat dinner, said Mrs. Dash. Sparkles unpacked her clothes and felt sad. She missed her family. She just wanted to be herself and have fun. At least Mrs. Dash liked her and thought she was special. When Sparkles went downstairs for dinner, she helped set the table. Mrs. Dash said, "You are the nicest unicorn I have ever met." Then Sparkles said, "Thank you. You are very nice," in the sweetest voice. But was it too sweet? After 5 days, Mrs. Unicorn, Minty, Daisy, Peppy, and Vanilla all came home to unpack their suitcases. Then they would get Sparkles. When they walked in the house, they screamed so loud they couldn't believe their eyes. There were donuts everywhere. On the floors were donuts. On the chairs were donuts. They ran upstairs. On the beds were donuts. And on Mrs. Unicorn's computer was a note about how mean some unicorn families are and how they didn't deserve sweet unicorns around them. And when they moved the note, they saw the airline website. Mrs. Unicorn, Minty, Daisy, Peppy, and Vanilla ran to Mrs. Dash's house and said, "Sparkles, you have to stay here now. You put donuts everywhere in the house and we can't believe you." Sparkles cried, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me. You have to believe me." But her family could not believe her. Before Sparkles used her mom's computer without asking, never said sorry, and did not look like she cared. The note really hurt their feelings, and they couldn't believe Sparkles could hurt them this much. Sparkles didn't always do the right thing, but this time she was really mean. Later that day, Mrs. Unicorn stopped by Mrs. Dash's house to give her some things for Sparkles. Mrs. Dash was on her computer outside and did not see Mrs. Unicorn walking up. She was making a step and singing a song that sounded like "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift. In a singing voice, Mrs. Dash sang, "I fooled all of them, do, and blamed it on Sparkles, do. That is what I did, I am a genius, Mrs. Unicorn was so angry when she heard this. She guessed correctly that Mrs. Dash set up Sparkles to be a villain. Mrs. Unicorn screamed at Mrs. Dash, "You should be ashamed of yourself, and I am taking my daughter right now." Mrs. Dash said, Wait, I have to tell you." Mrs. Dash cut her off because she did not want to hear the lies. Then she took Sparkles and left. When the unicorn family was all together again, they hugged. Sparkles had her head down and said, "I'm sorry that I lied and used your computer without asking, Mom." Mrs. Unicorn said, "Apology accepted. Just don't lie again and learn to be more respectful of others." Peppy said, "I think we can all learn something here." All of the unicorns looked at each other and promised to talk to each other without yelling and listen to each other more like a loving unicorn family. Later that night, Sparkles was in her sparkly room. She got out a plush donut and tore it apart to get a recording of it. Then Sparkles put the recording in her television box and hit play. On the video, she listened to herself say, "So Mrs. Dash, sing the Shake It Off song with these words. I fooled all of them and blamed it on Sparkles. That is what I did, I am a genius, Mrs. Dash asked why. In this video, Sparkles responded, "It's for a new acting thing I'm trying now." As Sparkles continued to watch her recording, she ate a powdered white cream donut. The end.
The end. Well, I enjoyed reading your story, and I'm sure that the audience enjoyed hearing you read your story. And you should be very proud of yourself as well, and I know your family is too. And you're more than welcome to submit a new story for our new short story contest as well. We're free to do that. Just want to thank you again. Well, it's great to speak with you, Alina. Until next time, keep writing and reading really exciting and delightful stories.